Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between the present value and the future value. So future value, again, is investing. Your money is growing. Okay, that is chapter 3.3. 3.4 is present value. So present value is still we're making payments, right? Both of them, both future and present value, we're making payments, and that's a big key. You got to make sure that you pick up when do you use compound interest and when do you use future value, because it still says compound interest, but the difference is one makes payments, the other one is just one initial investment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so when we're working with future value and present value, I'm going to start with future value. So the first thing is future value is the payment, and then that payment is multiplied by 1 plus I raised to the n minus 1 all over I. Now, you need to make sure you understand what all of these variables mean. Now, I means interest. It does not mean imaginary number, all right? That's why I like to use this. The I is how the book or my math lab uses it. Okay, so I is the same as R over N. Okay, so let's go through these. I is the rate over the number of compounds. Okay, so this is the rate as a decimal over the number of compounds. In other words, are you compounding monthly, weekly, daily, whatever it is. The T in this one, okay, the T is time in years. Okay, now this one is what my math lab is going to be using. Okay, so this is your my math lab formula. This one is taking the I and giving you the definition of it. Okay, so this N and this N are different. Okay, the N with the definition is the number of compounds. Over here in my math lab, so the my math lab N is the number of compounds, times the time. Okay, that's what the my math lab N is. So whichever one you use, you'll be fine. Just know that this N and this N, so let me mark them, this N and this N are different. Okay, just to make you aware of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk you through how to use this. Now, remember, your calculator does not know order of operation. All right, your calculator will only work based on how you plug it in. Okay, so if you have, let me write this. So if I have 1 plus 2 times 3, okay, in a calculator, if I put it in straight like that, it's going to do 1 plus 2, get that answer, and then it's going to multiply it by 3, which is 9. But order of operations says do your multiplication first and then your addition. You can see you have 2 different answers. Okay, so you have to know how to use your calculator. You can't just assume, since it's technology, that it's right? You have to know how to use it. Okay, so here we go. So we have, let me see. I'm looking at the ones that are on my math lab. So I'm going to try and do it based on, let's see. Okay, so we have our 6.3% compounded monthly. Okay, and we have 2,451, and it says deposited every month. So that's 200, or 2,451 per month. This is a payment. Okay, you have to read it. If it says you start with 2,451 and that's it, then you're going to use the compound interest formula. If it says 2,451 per month, that's a payment, you're going to use future value. It's a huge distinction between the two. Okay, and then it's for 5 years. And they want to know how much is in this annuity. So an annuity is just a generalized term for how much is in the bank account. All right, so here we go. Our rate, so hear me do it. I'll do it based on MyMathLab, is 0.063 divided by 12. So that's the first thing that I'm going to calculate. 0.063 divided by 12 is 0.00525. Okay, my PMT, or the payment, is 2451, and my time is 5 years. Okay, so using the MML, the MyMathLab N is 5 times 12. Technically, what this means is you're finding how many payments, right? There are 60 payments in 5 years. That's what you're doing every month for 5 years. So 12 times 5, that's 50. That's what this MyMathLab N is indicating, the number of payments. It's the same here. N times T is still the compounding times the time. So 12 times 5. Okay. All right, so let's set this up. So we are looking for future value. The payment is 2451. I'm going to multiply that by 1 plus my I raised to the 60 minus 1, that's all over that, and then over I, 0.00525. Okay, order of operations. Here's what you're going to do. You are going to do inside the parentheses first, and then raise that number to the 60th. So it's going to be 2, 4, and notice I am writing everything. So when you guys take your test, you have to show me what you're doing. I do not count on my calculator just being able to put it straight through, because the calculator will not calculate it right. Okay, so order of operations, I'm going to do my exponent first. So I add 1, I raise it to the 60th, and I'm going to hope I have enough room here. So I end up with 2451, and on top, I end up with 1.369130693 minus 1. Notice I am not rounding. Do not round until the very, very last step. That will throw your answer every time. Then you can see I'm just continuing. Minus 1. And then I'm going to divide that by 0.00525. And I get, I'm going to run out of room, 2451 times 70.31060,817. Okay, and then times 2451. So my answer, my future value is 172,331, and now I round it. Don't round until the very end. Now, if you can see my calculator, I just continued, right? I just continued. I got my I got my N, and then I just started putting, let's see if you can see it. I just started putting it in. Okay, so that's how you're going to do future value. I'm going to stop there.